Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, Ethiopian coffee made in a percolator. Nice. Just what I needed this morning. Just got back from the walk. I did not sleep really well last night. Laid awake for a couple hours. Only happens a couple times a year. This was the time. Usually if there's any insomnia, it's getting up early, not the inability to go to bed. And I usually think it's the end of year that it happens like this. When I think about the past year. How has your year been? Pretty soon, what I think the most important week of the year is the week after Christmas, in between Christmas and New Year's. What a week of contemplation that is. I think I'm going to be fasting between Christmas and New Year's. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a full 1 week fast. Would you be into that? Will you do that for contemplation, to get rid of the compulsions being controlled by food, caloric intake, sugar, caffeine? What do you think? Is that something you want to do? Because 2021 is the year that you get unstuck. We just can't turn the page in the calendar and start 2021. We need to think about a direction that we want to go in. How is 2021 going to be different? The elites and the world, the oligarchs, the people who really control society, they have another plan for you. Say what you will. Some people have called me a conspiracy theorist. Well, you know what? About 90% of what I've talked about has come to pass. It's not so much conspiracy anymore. You have to plan that your 2021 is going to be different than 2020. 2020, someone else fucked your life up. It's time to give the big, huge middle finger to those who want to control your life in 2021. Or will you just go with the tide? Just be swept around and used like a pawn on a giant chessboard? Have you had enough yet? Reflecting how I feel for you, thinking about those people then, I know that in 1,000 years I'd fall in love with you again. Barry Gibb, 1977. Good song. The kiss. The kiss. It's important. It's a milestone when you start to date. The first kiss, isn't it? The kiss. Not kissing. A kiss. Not making out, but the kiss. It's the one first thing you remember. Everybody remembers their first kiss. It's the official action that says you are pronounced man and wife. Why do we treat kisses so cheaply when the physical symbol that a man and a woman are now husband and wife starts with a kiss? You may now kiss the bride. I now pronounce you man and wife, husband and wife. It's important. It's the simple send-off when you're going to work. Heading to work, honey, or when you are parting ways, you kiss. It's the flirty, fun thing you steal when no one is looking. It's the good night action that sends you off to dreamland every night. It's the reassurance when you are sick or in a recovery bed. There is nothing like if you're in bed sick and your loved one just comes up and kisses you on the forehead. It's a beautiful thing. It's a welcome home. Honey, I'm home. When you're coming together. It's different than every other action. Why doesn't the man come in the house and shake his wife's hand? It's always a kiss. It's the last thing you do to your love before you say the final goodbye, before you lower them into the ground, before you close the casket. It's important because it's special, it's unique, and it has great meaning. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a kiss is worth 100,000. The kiss. Remember when the old folks used to say, "Close the door, what are you trying to heat the outside?" Anyone ever get that? Here it is, the end of December, and I thought of this. Do you still remember December's foggy freeze? I come back and my beard, I come back from my walk and my beard is drenched from the mist, from my breath, from breathing as I'm walking. Last week it was so cold when I did the walk. By the time I got back, the beard was hard, it was crunchy. It didn't get that snowy, crusty, frosty thing like the explorers get. But it was hard and crunchy until I came in, and then it softened up and then was just wet. What song is that from? Do you still remember? December's Foggy Freeze. Put your answer down below if you know what that's from. The best Christmas albums ever. Number 1, Amy Grant's first Christmas album. Phenomenal. Number 2, the group Truth, Your Heart is Where Christmas is Found. And number 3, it's a compilation of several artists called Our Christmas, and it has Russ Taff, Brian Duncan, Phil Keaggy, a whole bunch of people. Incredible. Those 3 Christmas albums are incredible. It would not be a bad thing if you got all 3. Are you up for it or down with it? What do you say? Up for it or down with it? I'm kind of an up for it kind of guy. I'm not a down with it kind of guy. Facts are stubborn things, and whatever may be our wishes, our inclinations, or the dictates of our passion, they cannot alter the state of facts and evidence. That's from John Adams. Facts are stubborn things. There's a big difference between hope and hopium. Hope is something that you provide for yourself. Hopium is an info drug that is spread by tweets, anonymous groups, social media, that releases you from actually doing work and doing something to save yourself. 2020 has been the year of hopiate overdoses. I've talked with countless men that describe their wife in these terms: God brought her to me. And then from anywhere from 3 years to 30 years later, she leaves. And I want to ask this question, but I don't. Then did God take her away? But we always end up talking about either this. Number 1, how he screwed up, or number 2, how she blindsided him. Simplistic Christian answers never work for these guys. But note that their responses right after a divorce happens usually differ from their response 2 to 5 years after. If I'm seeing a guy through a coaching or a therapy type of relationship, what they say when she first takes off is different than what they say 2 to 5 years later, when there is insight and time and distance from the event. Insight. Lord, give me insight. It's a beautiful thing. I took a poll. I asked ladies, do you wear a veil of some type at church? 5.1% said yes, they do. 15.9% said no. And 79% said, I'm a dude. So the guys answered that as well. But I still have about 12 hours of this poll to go, and I'm not sure it's going to change much. But it looks like about 5% of the women still wear veils at church, which means Orthodox, or like what I would call like old Catholic. I want people to be as successful as they want to be. Period. The government shouldn't help someone get rich, or they shouldn't help someone get poor. I just want the government to get out of the way. Period. That's my political party, the Get Out of My Way party. I'd be happy if we had a candidate that had a platform that said, we're not going to be involved in your life. Imagine that. Imagine how you would thrive without government. There would be chaos in the beginning in society. Government has gotten a little bit arrogant. It controls your life everywhere. Someone says, I own my house. I love it when people say, I own my home. No, you don't. Try not paying taxes and then see who owns your home. Well, I own my car. I would never make car payments. I own my car. Okay? Try not insuring it, which is a government rule. Try not registering it, which is a government rule. Try having a tailpipe hanging and dragging on the road. You need an inspection. You can get pulled over. The government can stop you from driving an unsafe car. You don't own anything except your body. Or do you? Something to think about. We're going to find out with the vaccine who owns you, aren't we? Are you going to take it? Do you work for a company that says you must take it? I saw a company the other day that gives you a test for nicotine on a regular basis. If you smoke a cigar, smoke a pipe, and I'm not even talking about smoking cigarettes where you're inhaling. If you test positive for nicotine, you will be fired. If you test positive before hiring for nicotine, when the test comes back, you won't get hired. There are companies that are, I saw one company that says you must get a flu shot every year. It's part of employment. There are going to be companies that say you must get the pandemic shot. You must get it or you can't work there anymore. Will you get it? Again, it goes back to the government thing. What do you really own? Are you really free? In the words of Thomas Jefferson, when people fear the government, there's tyranny. When the government fears the people, there's liberty. Do you think we're living in a tyrannical era? I do. It could be worse, but we are. Government has gotten way too big, way too big. Men and women, let me ask you this, men and women, why do men self-deprecate on social media regarding their women? Why do they do that? Why do men put themselves down? Why is that funny? Why don't women do that? Why don't women have that sense of humor? Why is it a man always putting himself down? Why is that? I don't deserve you. Thank you for putting up with me all these years. Like she's perfect and you're just a bumbling idiot. That just, to me, that's programming. And I think it's a warped sense of humor. That's what I think. That's what I think. The relationship is something you both are happy to have each other, not one person putting them down. I do have some theories on that, but I would lose a lot of friends if I stated the truth. That's one area that I won't go into yet, but I will. When I truly don't give a rip about what people think. I guess I still give a crap a little bit about what people think. Quietly hope, secretly expect, steadily work, check tasks off your list, and your reward will start to appear, because 2021 is the year that you get unstuck. This is your instructions right here for 2021. Quietly hope, secretly expect, steadily work, and check tasks off your list, and then the reward starts to appear. I'll say this for the holidays for some of you people out there, my men out there, my guys. Stop trying to get her back. This is a good time to get you back. Direct message me if you have an issue with that. Having a nice full beard is cool because if you don't touch it for a couple weeks, it just looks fuller. However, a meticulously lined up beard needs continuous attention to stay looking good. That's probably why I have a beard like this. If I don't touch it for 2 weeks, it still looks good, but a little fuller. If I had a perfectly lined up beard where the top and bottom line are shaved in, like I don't touch a razor to my face underneath or up here. This is a natural hairline here. This is a natural hairline. The only thing that is contrived is what I do with the clippers here to shape it. That's it. So it's not totally natural. It is shaped, sculpted. But the more lines you put into things, the more you have to do to maintain those lines. And my goal for growing a beard is to spend less time in front of the mirror, not more time. It looks like Bitcoin is doing really well. I got a little bit worried there for a while and thought, what the heck is going on? And every time I look at the numbers, I just have a grin. And then I think to myself, why didn't I get more? Yeah. I like our president, and I attract a lot of great patriotic people, men and women, who also like our president. There's a lot to be proud of. I love how America is not bombing the shit out of the world right now, thanks to the most peace-loving president we've ever had in my lifetime. I'm glad we're withdrawing from virtually everywhere. I'm tired of defending and fighting everyone's battles. We still fight a few other people's battles, and we are on call to fight a few other people's battles. I wish we weren't. But we've had 4 years of not bombing the shit out of everybody, and I'm good with that. Do not lament the fact, but celebrate the fact that you are not like everyone else. It was harder to do when you were younger. Now that you realize what others think doesn't really matter to you, life is good, isn't it? Life is good. I asked the question, if you remember last week, I said, ladies, would you rather be with a wise man or a rich man? And one of my favorite answers is from a young lady, young married lady, and she says, having chosen a wise man, I've known riches that money cannot buy. I like that. I like that a lot. I will put her, she has a blog called Femina Studiosa, encouraging women to embrace femininity, wisdom, and virtue. It's feminastudiosa.com. I'll put that link down below. And she has some interesting thoughts that are consistent with mine regarding virtuous relationships, proper relationships, relationships that start out properly and create the ultimate goal for what men and women were created for. I like that. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.